just as Shigaraki is about to activate his awakened decay and literally disintegrate all the heroes and hero students at UA. A fan favorite character returns from the dead to save the day. The only problem is this character used to be a villain. In fact, multiple villains from the past have returned and are now siding with the heroes, but can they be trusted? All the important pieces have been placed on the board just as the final showdown between full power Shigaraki and Deku is about to begin. And the whole world seems to be blowing up all around them, so let's get into it. You guys know how this works. If you enjoy our MHA vids and you want us to keep it going, just leave a quick like and comment. It only takes you a second, but it really helps me out a lot. And just a reminder that well over 50% of people who watch our videos are not subscribed. This means that you're likely missing a lot of our videos because YouTube doesn't recommend them to you, so please do me a very quick favor and subscribe right now. It is completely free and it really helps the channel. Finally, this video will of course contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. The previous chapter made it clear that all the heroes and hero students on the UA battlefield are in serious trouble. Shigaraki can now use his quirks again, and he also seems to be in full control of his own body. Sad Man's Parade is still a threat. Deku is running out of stamina and he is struggling just to keep breathing. And if that wasn't bad enough, the UA itself is about to crash to the ground after its flotation system was compromised. But the heroes still have hope because for whatever reason, All For One is still unable to complete his takeover of Shigaraki's body. This internal conflict within Shigaraki could be used by the heroes to their advantage. And also, La Brava managed to hack into Skeptic's systems. And she is now doing her best to save everyone at UA from crashing to their deaths. We also learned of a secret connection between One For All and All For One. The vestiges within One For All can sense the inner workings of All For One, and they can tell that All For One is having serious problems keeping the separate identities within Shigaraki unified. However, on the flip side, this means that All For One also likely has insight into the inner workings of One For All, and he may be able to sense what the vestiges are thinking or feeling. This is a plot point that could become important in the future, so we'll have to pay close attention. The latest chapter reveals that this is not the first time that La Brava clashed with Skeptic. Back when she was just a nerdy shut-in, she actually hacked into Skeptic's company, which is called Feel Good Inc. That name is actually a reference to a popular song by the band Gorillaz. La Brava openly confesses to Skeptic that she had hacked him before, and he is shocked to find out that it was her. It seems that he was kind of traumatized by that previous hacking experience, and that incident cost him a lot of money. Skeptic realizes that La Brava is quickly gaining control of everything, and he seems to be unable to stop her. At this point, he's just hoping that he can keep her from gaining access to the UA evacuation system, and that is something that is clearly important to Skeptic, because he has mentioned that system multiple times. We also know that the villains have several spies among the civilians who had been evacuated to the UA, so something is definitely brewing there. Now that La Brava has found him, Skeptic plans to just run away and hide somewhere while the villain revolution that he believes in so passionately takes its course. After all, the floating UA building is currently in free fall, and the priority of the heroes has to be saving all the heroes and hero students who are trapped there. Little does Skeptic know that his location is already compromised and several heroes and hero students are already on his trail. For her part, La Brava is trying her best to gain access to the floating UA system in order to stop the building from falling. But despite her best efforts, she just doesn't have enough time. She's obviously a great hacker, but the building will fall to the ground before she has a chance to repair and reboot the system. Meanwhile, on the floating UA itself, Deku and Shigaraki are facing off against each other as the ground beneath them begins to plunge rapidly. Things look really bad over there, and the heroes and hero students who have been maintaining the system are now bracing for impact. It just doesn't seem like the heroes will be able to save the UA in time. And that is when a villain comes to the rescue. Well, a former villain anyway. The gentle criminal has returned to the story, and unsurprisingly, La Brava is overjoyed. Gentle has arrived to the spot where the floating UA building is about to fall, And that's when we learn what he's been up to all this time. After being apprehended by the authorities way back in chapter 183, Gentle had been incarcerated inside one of the prisons that All For One decided to break into in order to free all the captives and create chaos in the country. And so about a month and a half before these current events, Gentle was one of the criminals who was forcibly freed from Mikuzu prison right after Tartarus was attacked. It seems that Muscular personally spearheaded this specific breakout. The criminals and villains who had been imprisoned there couldn't believe their luck, and they were already on their way to get revenge against everyone who wronged them before they ended up in prison. But before they had a chance to escape, the very hairy and disheveled looking Gentle used his quirk to stop the prisoners from running away. Thanks to Gentle, out of the 7 different prisons at which All For One had orchestrated a jailbreak, only this one didn't actually have any escapees. That's because Gentle was there to stop them all from escaping. But why would Gentle do this when he himself was imprisoned for being a villain? Well, we all know that Gentle wasn't exactly a committed villain. He initially wanted to be a hero, and although he eventually turned to crime, he was always more of a fame-seeking gentleman criminal than an actually dangerous villain. And it seems that the words that were spoken to him by that gorilla investigator upon his arrest really spoke to him. The investigator told him that people who say that they can't turn their lives around are just impatient, and their lack of commitment shows that they never had a real desire to change in the first place. This, combined with how inspirational Gentle found Deku to be, and also coupled with the fact that his time away from La Brava made him realize that he was in love with her and he desperately wanted to be with her again, contributed to Gentle's complete turnaround from villain to hero. And so, with La Brava's love giving him extra strength, Gentle decides to use his quirk to stop the UA building from crashing to the ground. Gentle manages to create a giant air trampoline that prevents the UA's fall and saves the lives of everyone inside the building, at least for the time being. I'm not sure how long Gentle can keep this kind of thing up, and frankly I'm surprised that his quirk is this strong. Even with La Brava's quirk's support, this seems like a freaking monumental task. So I don't know exactly how I feel about Gentle's quirk being this overpowered. What do you guys think? Did Horikoshi go too far by making Gentle's quirk this strong? Or do you like the fact that Gentle is finally getting some love? Let me know down below. Either way, there's no time to celebrate because Shigaraki is already making his move. Now that he can use his quirks again, Shigaraki tries to touch the ground and activate Decay. If he succeeds, then Gentle's heroic effort will mean nothing because everyone at the UA will be destroyed anyway. But just before Decay can activate, Shigaraki's right hand is suddenly shot off with what looks like a high-powered rifle. And the oversized bullet that did the damage seems quite familiar. The final page of the chapter reveals that Lady Nagant has returned. And she is the one who shot off Shigaraki's hand from a long distance using her epic rifle quirk. Oh, and by the way, I wouldn't worry too much about Shigaraki's hand because he should now be able to use super regeneration. Now, Lady Nagant is clearly still injured. She is covered in bandages. But her condition has improved greatly and she is now back in action. And just like Gentle and La Brava, this time she is fighting on the side of the heroes. Those of you who watch this channel regularly know that Lady Nagant and Miruko are like the top 2 waifus in MHA as far as I'm concerned. So you better believe that I'm excited to see her again. Although at the same time, I am worried about what Horikoshi has planned for my girl in the future. Because if you haven't noticed, he keeps injuring my waifus over and over again, and I don't know how much more of that I can take. What are your thoughts about all of these villains coming back to the story and siding with the heroes? Are we about to see something similar from Stain? I've been waiting for that for a very, very long time. Oh, and how did Lady Nagant survive that explosion in the first place? We were led to believe that All For One somehow detonated an explosive inside of her, which would be extremely hard to survive. Does Lady Nagant have other secret quirks, powers, or abilities that we still don't know about? What role do you expect her to play in this final battle? Can you ever forgive me for being such a massive Lady Nagant simp? Let me know down in the comments. Personally, I think that having all of these important characters from the past returning for the final battle is a big deal. Horikoshi is intentionally putting all the pieces into place and setting the stage for the epic final showdown between Deku and Shigaraki. This is an all-out war, and we can expect heavy fighting and heavy casualties. Especially now that Shigaraki can use his quirks again, because let's be real, we haven't even seen Shigaraki at full power yet. We have no idea what this guy is truly capable of when all his quirks are functioning. I believe that the hero's biggest advantage right now is the fact that Shigaraki is still undergoing a fierce internal struggle and the personalities inside of him are clearly not unified. If the heroes can use this to their advantage, maybe they can gain the upper hand over Shigaraki at a crucial point in the battle. However, we can't forget Deku's situation either. He is exhausted and worn out. The very cells of his body are overworked, and he is struggling to even breathe. Without some major power-up, like for example One For All attaining quirk singularity and mutating into an even more powerful super quirk, I don't think that Deku will be able to pull off a win against Shigaraki. Not unless Shigaraki undergoes some sort of mental collapse as a result of his internal struggle. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen next? And how do you think that MHA will end? Don't forget to leave your feedback below. I always love hearing from you. If you're looking for MHA videos to watch next, check out our extensive playlist. Just click the link right on the screen or in the description below.